Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ramani Ramachandran. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Router Protocol. We are in the interoperability space. We help chains talk to each other, and we help dApps communicate with each other. I'm the business guy. So how many of you are developers here? Just show of hands. Hardcore developers, engineers. Okay, good. Thank God. Okay, so not too many of you guys. All right. 10 minutes? No. 10 minutes? 15 minutes? Okay, great. I'm here to talk about what chain abstraction is and what Router is doing in the chain abstraction space, and just have a dialogue. Get to the Q&A part very quickly. Chain abstraction, I guess, is something that a lot of people are talking about these days. And if you look at it, it's going to be a critical part of Web3's growth. There's so many different chains. And if you want to use an app, or if you want to develop an app, there's a huge fragmentation of experiences, right? You have people building on Solana, people building on all the L2s, Ethereum, what have you. And then you have these multiple platforms that sort of try to lock you in. You have Blast and Bera and all these guys. They just want to hog the liquidity and the user experience. So there's a fundamental siloing. And this was similar to, if you go back to pre-2004, 2005 in the software space, right? What would happen is that, you have all these various tech stacks. You had the enterprise stack by IBM. You had the Unix stack. You had the MacBook stack, Mac OS stack. And all of these stacks could not talk to each other. There's a huge fragmentation in terms of user and developer experiences, right? And what fixed that was the cloud, right? So what happened was that the cloud came along. And then you had a situation where, as a end user, you just interacted with the dApp that would talk to the cloud in the background. Your Google Doc is a classic example, or in any cloud application is a classic example. As a developer, you just needed to worry about deploying to AWS Docker or whatever, Microsoft Azure or whatever. So that standardization or unification of the what was previously a very fragmented experience was critical in sort of helping Web2 grow, right? I mean, earlier you had multiple operating systems. Now it doesn't matter. You have an Android or a Mac, whatever, iPhone or whatever. You have the same operating system, broadly the same user experience, right? We are quite a fair distance away from that in Web3. I mean, it's highly competitive, highly PvP. Every chain wants to hog, and nobody's competing with each other. So, which is why chain abstraction is interesting, right? I mean. So Router has been building a lot of middleware that enables chain abstraction. Obviously, the bulk of the use cases today is just getting tokens from chain to chain. But going forward, it will be a situation where you will have an app, and you don't really care about what chain it's on. It's just a nice UI, UX, and you're going to do your DeFi thing or meme trading or NFT trading or whatever on the app. And on the back end, under the hood, you'll have whatever optimization from L1 to L2 or whatever yield optimization or searching for the best swap. All that gets pushed under the hood, right? So that's one classic pathway for chain abstraction. Also a big motivation for chain abstraction, just providing a seamless end user experience, right? This is. I'm not sure why we're on this slide, but anyway, this is a classic adapter that we built called. So this is, for instance, this is the classic example of chain abstraction, right? Before we built this adapter for Stakestone, you had to do 5 different steps, and it would take you 5 to 10 minutes, and it would sort of be super expensive. You had to first bridge USDC from Ethereum to Arbitrum, and then get the Ethereum, and then swap the USDC to back to Ethereum, ETH on Ethereum, and then go to Stakestone, and then bridge the stone to scroll via layer 0. What we did with one of the CCIF products that we built. We sort of wrote a paper called CCIF, which is the cross-chain integration framework, and we sort of compressed all of this into one operation, right? And that would be done in even less than a minute, but yeah, 1 to 2 minutes for the most part, and almost 75% cost savings, right? Earlier it was like, if it's $100 earlier, it's now it's like $15, right? And this is important because, a lot of retail users have maybe 1 ETH, 2 ETH, right? And they don't want to spend $100 and 20 minutes of the time to do all this, right? So this is just one example of why chain abstraction is so powerful and why the CCIF framework and the adapters that we built is super interesting. Some numbers here, right? We launched, I think in the last 3 weeks, we've done more than 15 million in volume and more than 25,000 transactions. And the beautiful thing is, the bridging game, so we have a bridge called Router Nitro. It's cheap, it's fast. But the bridging game is a race to the bottom in terms of the economics. I mean, you're competing against each other. The cost is barely 1 bips. With something like this, it's like a value-added service, and so you can tack on a small fee, and people don't notice. It's just convenience, right? Because we're saving you this time and effort on the left. So from a long-term perspective as well, I think chain abstraction is existential for all of us interoperability providers in terms of actually making money. Yeah, some metrics here from the Stakestone case study. We have a bunch of partners coming on tap over the next few months. Yeah, so this is the campaign that we had with Stakestone. Yeah, some details of it, yeah. Yeah, this is our, yeah, if you're a developer, you can sort of scan this and check out our chain abstraction toolkit, and thank you.